I'm really proud that the idea of BIA started in Toronto, not just in Toronto, right here in Bloor West Village in my neighborhood.
Well, I think there was two defining moments, two defining factors in the latter part of the 60s. First and foremost, the malls.
The suburbs were all converting to malls, and they were enormous things with climate control, a whole variety of merchants under the one roof, and limitless parking.
The other defining moment was really the completion of the Bloor subway.
The people who used to ride streetcars were now riding underground. There wasn't a block that didn't have at least one empty store. There was this general state of depression among the merchants.
There was a handful of individuals in Bloor West Village who decided that there was a need to move forward, or they might as well pack up and move to the malls the way everybody else did.
I was approached by Neil McClellan, who was really the Ayatollah of the local business association, and he came to me and he said, "We want you to be our next president." And I said, "Well, Neil, I don't want to do that. All you do is pass the hat all the time, and some people pay and others don't pay."
William Whiteacre, amongst others, sat down and effectively put the legislation together.
I had this kernel of an idea that if you increase the business tax of everybody in a given area, and then the city hands that increment back to the local business association, and they can spend it on promoting the area and improve the streetscape. I was tilling fertile ground because Bill Dennison loved it. And he said, "Now let me get this straight, Bill. Are you telling me that these guys want to pay more tax?" And I said, "Yeah, that's exactly what it is." And he said, "Well, I'm for it." To get the Municipal Act amended, I went to see the Honourable Darcy McHugh, who was the minister at the time. So he said, "Is it good for Toronto?" And I said, "Yes, it's good for Toronto." And then he said, "Well, if it's good for Toronto, it's good for Ontario. We'll amend the Ontario Municipal Act."
You know, at times BIAs are like herding cats. Everybody's got a different idea. Effectively, what you're trying to do is bring together a bunch of independent thinkers who make decisions every day on their own business, and they live with them, right or wrong. But try to put them in a room where you have to reach a consensus, and that is very difficult. BIAs, while they're a self-help mechanism, need a local champion.
Alex Ling should get a lot of credit for getting this rolling, because he was a driving force behind the whole movement, and still is.
Back in 1970, when I drove by Bloor West Village here, I was attracted by the sparkling, twinkling lights from the trees, and I said, "Wow, you know, what a place to be. I would love to be here."
Alex Ling is a very interesting person, very modest, very forward-thinking.
I realized that the communications between the board and the member was not good at all.
Alex came in within a year of the inception of that BIA, but what Alex did was he nurtured that BIA by literally closing his business and attending hearings at the OMB at City Hall to protect the concept that is the BIA.
So I rolled up my sleeve and I went around and I talked to everybody, and things got much better, and it took about 5 years.
And right at the beginning, a man named Alex Ling took me aside and said, "You know, the business interests are the same as the residents. We all want a better city." And he was right.
When they hesitate, you can say, "Don't make a decision now. Let's think about it and we talk about tomorrow." Because when they say no, you're cooked. You're done. So don't let them say no.
I think one of the great things about Toronto is that this idea is spreading all across the city. And in all of those places, what Alex told me is true. What's good for the small businesses is good for the local residents. That's true in our whole city.
Benches or flowers and sidewalk sales, festivals. In fact, most BIAs have some kind of festivals.
I think everybody wants to belong to some place. The local community holds that tightness, that togetherness, the stuff that we look for in small towns. And I think what the BIAs have done is they brought a little bit of that small town into Toronto. The cafes are full, people will meet up and have their coffee or a glass of wine. The main street acts as the gathering place.
I love the fact that we're a community. That's how it feels. And that's because there's successful small business retail and retailers who care about the city enough to invest their own money in things that improve the city as well as the business opportunities. That's quite an extraordinary thing. We take it a little bit for granted, but the businesses here want to invest their money in our city. and I think that's why they succeed.
And many people think that those flowers, those benches that are out there are actually put out by the city. It's the local merchants who are levying themselves above and beyond the taxes that they pay to the city. With 71 BIAs now in Toronto, there's about 290 across the province of Ontario. Well over 500 across Canada. In the US, well over 1,000. They call them bids or bizzes. London, England, France, Scotland, Australia, Japan, South Africa have a very similar program based on the foundation of the BIAs. They may call it differently, but fundamentally it's local business people helping to help themselves.
I had no idea at the time that it would expand.
This is our biggest export to the world.
So you improve the area, you beautify it, now you show it off by bringing people in. The rest, as they say, is history.